Thank you very much, Your Honour. I want to acknowledge that I come to this chamber from Manitoba in Treaty 1 territory and the homeland of the Red River Métis Nation, and that the Parliament of Canada is on the unceded territories of the Algonquin and Anishinaabeg First Nations. On March 12th, about 2 months ago, representatives from 22 UN member states, as well as civil society representatives, and several Canadian senators attended a groundbreaking panel during the 68th session of the UN Commission on the Status of Women, or CSW 68, in New York, on gendered expressions of crimes against humanity, specifically those occurring in Afghanistan under Taliban rule. More than 100 Taliban decrees have systematically obliterated Afghan women's status, effectively erasing women and girls from public life. This systematic attack on women's rights is a form of what we now understand to be gender apartheid. Senators, today my comments are based on my decades of work as an international human rights lawyer and 25 years of working with Afghan women refugees. I also rely on the excellent research and advocacy spearheaded by Canada's Feminist Forum on Afghanistan, chaired by former Afghan Cabinet Minister, the Honourable Nargis Nahan, now settled in Canada. The forum convened standing room only panel at CSW on gender apartheid, which I just mentioned. More recently, some of you attended the gender apartheid panel on May 21st, co-hosted with the forum and with Senators Atalajan, Omidvar, myself, and MPs Salma Zahid, Garnet Jennis, and Ali Assasi. Canada's Feminist Forum on Afghanistan is a project of the Regional Women's Network, which focuses on Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India, founded by Canadian philanthropist Patricia Cooper. Other important contributors to this growing initiative include the Atlantic Council, the Global Justice Centre, Peace Direct, the International Civil Society Action Network, ICANN, which has been chaired by our own Senator Mobina Jaffer, and the Global Network of Women Peace Builders, of which I am a founding board member. Here is a proposed definition that you may find helpful. Gender apartheid is a system of governance based on laws and policies which impose systematic segregation of women from men and systematically excludes women from public spaces and spheres. At CSW in March, senators learned more about the growing consensus among UN experts, legal scholars, and international civil society experts that gender apartheid must be recognized, codified, and incorporated into international legal mechanisms to end the impunity currently enjoyed by the Taliban and other perpetrators. Codification of gender apartheid would enhance the capacity of states to exert political and legal pressure on perpetrators to reverse course. The UN Working Group on Discrimination Against Women and Girls recently noted, and I quote, "This recognition would not only honor the aim of the apartheid prohibitions in general, but would also be a crucial step towards respecting and asserting the centrality of gender equality," end of quote. International treaty protections usually come out of what can be a long process of multilateral consultation and negotiation. Progress is being made. UN member states are exchanging views on draft articles presented by the International Law Commission on preventing and punishing crimes against humanity. These drafts, currently before the General Assembly's Sixth Committee, could form the basis for a new convention and present a unique opportunity to correct this major gap in international law, and specifically to address instances of systematic oppression of women and girls occurring or likely to occur around the world. Those 100-plus decrees target Afghan women and girls who have not been able to escape the Taliban, systematically reducing many to subhuman existence, restricting and denying fundamental rights to work, to education, to freedom of movement, to religious practice, to assembly, to health care, rights and dignities that we take for granted here in Canada. Gender apartheid is not just about repression of women and girls. Just as the original Taliban were indoctrinated to detest and oppress females, in Afghanistan today, men and boys are forcefully indoctrinated to impose in their own communities and families the draconian restrictions on half their population as normal, as necessary. This is gender apartheid in practice, but it is not formally recognized under international law. The absence of such a law is a major gap in human rights. The 1998 Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court does...
Senator McFedrin, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Honourable Senator, it is now 7 o'clock, and pursuant to Rule 33(1), I'm obliged to leave the chair until 8 o'clock, when we will resume, unless it is your wish, Honourable Senators, to not see the clock. The key question is it agreed to not see the clock?
Oui.
Ordered. Senator McFedrin, please continue.
That's a very pleasant surprise. Thank you very much. The 1998 Rome Statute of the International Criminal Code does codify a form of apartheid, but it focuses on the race-based apartheid that was enforced in South Africa. An expanded clause could read, "The crime of apartheid means inhuman acts of a character similar to those referred to in paragraph 1, committed in the context of an institutionalized regime of systematic oppression and domination by one racial group over another racial group or groups, or by one gender group over another gender group or groups, and committed with the intention of maintaining that regime." This proposed definition is included as Article 2 of the draft Articles on Prevention and Punishment of Crimes Against Humanity, presently before the UN Sixth Committee. There is growing consensus among UN experts, legal scholars, international civil society, and activists that gender apartheid must be recognized, codified, and incorporated into international legal mechanisms. Doing so would enhance the capacity of states to exert political and legal pressure to hold perpetrators accountable for their heinous crimes. Codification of gender apartheid will assist victims and survivors in holding perpetrators to account for the totality of crimes committed against them, and assist states by providing the currently missing framework necessary to take coordinated legal action to exert pressure on gender apartheid states to stop violating the rights of women and girls. Honourable colleagues, let us add our voices to the many who are calling out the perpetrators of gender apartheid by our support for Senator Salma Otalajan's Motion 139. I assure you that this action of the Senate of Canada will strengthen the movement toward codified legal recognition of gender apartheid as a crime against humanity. Our support for this motion is an expression of respect for the essential need for gender equality as a priority in the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals for our planet. Today, let us stand with women and girls silenced and persecuted in countries like Afghanistan and Iran. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.